Welcome to another episode of The Jasmine Tea, where we give you piping hot commentary on your favorite Blackity Black shows. I'm your host, Jasmine, and today I'll be recapping Euphoria Season 2, Episode 6. So, piping hot moment number 1, Rue apologizes to Ali. Now, this moment was really beautiful because in the last episode, we saw Rue really go in on Ali. Rue really took advantage of an intimate moment where Ali was sharing during one of their AA meetings and used it against him. So, to see her apologize was really heartwarming, and he accepted her apology rather quickly. He even offered to come over to her house and cook dinner for her mom and her sister. So, seeing them all in the kitchen together, it was a nice little fuzzy moment. I'm not gonna lie. It was just making me feel like there was hope for Rue and her family. There was hope for them in the future. Ali also has a really good conversation with Rue's mom and lets her know, like, hey, basically, you gotta let Rue live her life and do her thing because you have a whole other child over here who's been waiting on some love. And Ali also has a conversation with Gia, and he frees her spirit up some and lets her know, like, hey, girl, it's okay if you're mad at Rue. It's okay if you're disappointed in her. You know, you can still be supportive and want the best for someone, and also be very aware of the areas where they need to change or where they can stand to grow, you know. So it was okay. He kind of let Gia know that it's okay for her to own her feelings as well as still love her sister. So just great to see. Piping hot moment number 2, Fexy has a movie night. I was so excited to see this. I love everything Lexi and Fez. So Lexi stops by Fez's house to talk to him because she's feeling a bit apprehensive about her play. She's been putting things together, you know, having rehearsals and things, but she knows that she's about to drop some tea and is a little concerned about how people may receive it. And so she goes over to talk to Fez, and he's basically just like, you know, do your thing or whatever. It's going to be okay. We also see that Faye and her boyfriend reconnect, but it's really on some shady shit. So Faye's boyfriend pops back up, and he lets Faye know that he's been working with the cops, and he's about to spill the tea on Fez and Ashtray for killing Mouse. So remember, like, very first episode or so, Ashtray took Mouse out the game with that hammer. And so now it's just kind of coming back around on them. He let Faye know that he'll be coming back around again, possibly recording them or something, basically helping them get caught. He about to snitch. And Faye, you know, she says okay or whatever, but we are all rooting for her to let Fez and Ashtray know, like, girl, you've been living all up in their house for all this time, eating their food, using their water, running up their power bill, and now you just gonna let them go to jail? I really hope that she uses her big old lips to go ahead and warn them about what's about to happen, because she has been sitting pretty in their house for quite a while, and I feel like she just owes it to them. She just owes it. We also get a glimpse of Cassie being down and sad, trying to defend herself after Rue spilled the beans about her sleeping with Nate in the previous episode. Wasn't too much. She tried to stab herself with a corkscrew. That was just pretty extra, but it also goes to show just how much our girl Cassie has been spiraling this season, like spiraling on down. Maddie is heartbroken and depressed as well. We also see another relationship crumble. Kat finally breaks up with Ethan. Now, she sets up the situation for the breakup to happen, but she doesn't have the balls to actually do it herself, so she gaslights the heck out of him. Ethan wasn't really having it. By the end, he was just basically like, so we don't need to be together anymore. So Ethan did the actual breaking up, but Kat set it up, wanted it to be happen, and then basically just bitched out. I also feel like she was probably just scared, and it was more so a reflection. This was an outward reflection of her inner insecurities, because she's still doing her video sex thing. Like, she's still on camera dressing it up and, you know, trash talking to old men probably, but she just didn't want Ethan, and so that's fine. I wish she would have handled the situation better, but I'm also very proud of Ethan because he was like, hey girl, this is looking like a duck, quacking like a duck. I'm going to set it free like a duck needs to be. Piping hot moment number 3 was actually pretty scary because Nate shows up at Maddie's house with a gun, y'all, like with a loaded and ready to use pistol. So Maddie comes home from wherever she was out at, changing clothes, turns around and sees Nate sitting creepily in a chair in the corner of her room. And he proceeds to pin her down and ask her where the heck that video recording is of his dad, Cal, having sex with Jules. And so Maddie tries to play it off at first. She's like, what tape? I don't know what you're talking about. And then Nate pulls out the gun, sticks it to her head while she's pinned down on the bed, and proceeds to play Russian roulette. So he takes out some bullets or whatever, but he still holds the gun against her head and proceeds to click. It terrifies her. I mean, I was scared watching. So she eventually lets him know, like, hey, bro, it's over in my purse. You can get it and go. But what really threw me off was after being such a jerk and going through this terrifying experiences, he turns around, sees Maddie like on the bed, shriveled up and crying, and then acts completely surprised as to why she's doing so. He's like, oh my God, what's wrong? You idiot! You idiot! She's probably gonna think about this mess for the rest of her life, son. So it just goes to show how devoid of emotion he is. Like, Nate came in there on a mission. The mission was accomplished, and basically he's just ready to move on after that. Nate does show some instance of human kindness because he takes the tape and he gives it over to Jules. He lets her know, like, hey, I could have did anything with this, but I'm bringing it to you. Probably because he knows she'll destroy it. Because she don't want none of that smoke either from being in the public. But we'll see. I was glad that he at least brought it over to her and didn't keep it for himself as some type of like revenge tactic for the future. But I'm also not so sold. Now, we saw Maddie driving around with that tape for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if there was another copy of it somewhere. Like, I don't feel like that was the final copy. I wouldn't be surprised if in the very last episode we see the police like roll up to Cal's house or something, wherever he's living now, and take him away because that situation just folded up too neatly and simply for me. Somebody has to be justified. Vindication is needed. I also want to give a special highlight moment to Rue because, of course, she was narrating this whole episode. And when it came time around to talk about Jules and Elliot, like the clip started, like it was about to show what was going on with them. And then Rue was like, you know what? Actually, I don't want to talk about Jules and Elliot. Fuck them. So I'm going to stick beside her and say F them as well because our good sis just didn't want to talk about them today. They didn't need any light on the camera. They didn't need to be on scene. And that's going to wrap up our piping hot moments for Euphoria Season 2, Episode 6. Make sure you're following me on Twitter so that we can live tweet together during the show. It is so much fun. Comments how you feel about Maddie and Nate's gun scene. Like, were you surprised about it? Did you think he'd take it that far? I want to hear from you.